Welcome. Thank you for joining me for another interesting and hopefully enlightening talk. My name is Douglas Grummins. I'm glad to be with you again. Today's discussion will be focused around the subject of letting go, being receptive and letting go. On the surface, it might seem easier to be in a state of let go if you're a female. For the masculine energy is more of an assertive energy, and the focus is more outward instead of inward and being receptive. But we both come from our mothers and our fathers, so we're half and half. So half of the energy that exists within us is a feminine energy, and the other half is a masculine energy, whether you're male or female. And it also varies from person to person how much of that energy is can be receptive versus how much is assertive. There are females out there that are very assertive, and there are males out there who are very receptive. So it's different for every person, and the degree of that difference will depend on how hard it is for you to be receptive in the form that you're in. So in our last podcast, I was talking about what has happened to the human consciousness and how man decided against hate, anger, against all negative poles, that they were not good, and that if they are left alone, they'd be very bad. And today I want to pick up kind of where I left off reading the other day and share something else with you, kind of changing the subject to today's topic. And somebody on page 175 in Osho's book, The Man Who Loves Seagulls, somebody asked St. Augustine to tell me in one sentence, in a simple sentence, the whole message of Christ, because I am an ignorant man and I cannot understand the subtleties of the theology. And I don't know much about morality, so don't give me complex disciplines I may not be able to follow. Give me a simple discipline, so simple that I can understand and follow. And it is said that St. Augustine closed his eyes and meditated, and then he said, then there is only one thing, love, and everything else will follow. Love is the greatest morality, because it brings the feeling part of you up, and the thinking part of you goes down. Nothing is wrong with the thinking part, but it is playing the role of the master, which is wrong. Reason is good if it helps feeling. Feeling should be the master, and reason should be the servant. Feeling should guide, and reason should manage. But if reason becomes the master and feeling has to follow, then you will be dead. Because how can you be alive with only reason? Life is feeling. Trees can exist without reason, but they cannot exist without feeling. Now, even scientists are becoming more and more aware that trees feel, and feel tremendously. Stars, rocks, rivers, they cannot exist without feeling. Feeling is their very life. Birds, animals, the whole exists with feeling, except for man. Man is upside down. The head has become the prominent thing, and the head has been suppressing feeling. And it's happened all over life in that way. Politicians rule, dominate. In fact, poets should be the guides, not politicians. But as it happens in the atomic individual, so it happens on a vaster scale in society. If feeling rules the individual, then poets will rule life. Then poets will rule nations. The world will be a totally different. If the head rules, if reason rules the individual, then the politicians will rule. And the world is going to be in a constant trouble, constantly at war, in constant conflict. And it is good to feel, and if feeling surrounds you, then there is nothing wrong in thinking. If thinking follows feeling, beautiful. It helps. It is like a radar. It opens the way for the feeling to move on. It protects the feeling from dangers. It helps the feeling to know what is going to happen next, to plan a little. It is good, but it is only as a servant. If you love, you'll have a deep affinity with existence. Trees will talk to you. Birds will start coming near you. Animals will not be afraid of you. There is no need. Man creates fear because of his head, and with his heart, he is again one with the universe. And this is all in relation to the story of the man who loved seagulls. there once existed a man who loved to go down to the seashore and play with the seagulls and feed them and just be with them and share love with them. And this is all on the book The Man Who Loves Seagulls. And one day the man's father heard that the seagulls loved to play with his son. And the father said to the son, "Bring me some of those seagulls so I may play with them too." Then the next day, when he went down to the sea, the seagulls danced over him, but they would not come down. So something had changed. Something was different. So Osho shares with us that the seagulls cannot understand what you are thinking in the mind, but they can understand the vibes that you are creating around you, and you are continuously creating the vibes around you. You are a continuous broadcast of vibes. Continuous. Whatsoever happens in your heart is just as if someone has thrown a stone in a lake and ripples arise. And they go on and on and on. And they will go on to the very end, to the very shore, all around. A feeling arises in you immediately. A stone has been thrown into the lake of your being. An idea arises in you and ripples arise. They go all around. Those seagulls don't know exactly what the Father has said to the Son because they don't understand the local language of man. They don't know what has really happened, but deep down they still know that this man is not the same. Somebody else has come, a stranger, not the old friend. Now he has come with an idea, and the idea is not known, but throughout his whole body he is now not in a let go. He has some idea to do, some plan, some desire. He is not the same relaxed man with whom the seagulls could come and feel at home with. And this is the secret of the whole of life. Not only seagulls, but happiness, meditation, ecstasy, they all come to you when you are in a total state of let go, in a deeply friendly mood, in a loving attitude towards existence. And when you are at the heart, they come. When you are persuading them and you think that happiness is something like a right, that you have to pursue it, suddenly the seagulls of happiness are not descending. They will dance above your head, but they will never come down to play with you, to move with you, to jump and hop. No, they will never become one with you. They will not descend into your being. And yes, happiness is a seagull. Meditation is also a seagull. Ecstasy is also a seagull. Existence understands only let go. If you are in a let go, you will attain. You will attain to whatsoever this existence can give to you. And it can give to you infinite blessings, infinite benediction. It can give you total satiety, contentment. You can become a Buddha. Existence is ready to give, but you are not ready to take it because you are thinking in terms of how to snatch it. Existence gives to you as gifts, and you cannot snatch. You cannot conquer. You cannot achieve. You surrender. Please, just be in a let go. All that is beautiful is like seagulls. Remember this, nothing can be done. The feast is already ready. You have been invited. You can enter from the front door, but you are foolish. You are trying to enter from the back door, and in existence there is no back door. You are trying to enter like a thief. The front door is open for you, and the host is waiting on the steps to receive you. And you are trying to enter from the back door like a thief. And life has no back doors. You cannot steal life. You cannot be a thief. Life gives, and life gives infinitely, and gives unconditionally. You please just be in a let go. Let the seagulls descend and play with you, and loiter with you on the seashore. Everything is ready. The feast, the host, everything is ready, just waiting for you to come in from the front door. Effort is not needed. Effort is the back door. Effortlessness is needed. So don't listen to Jefferson when he says happiness is not a right. You cannot pursue it. You have to persuade it. It is like a shy woman. You have to court it indirectly. You don't go to a woman and say, I would like to go to bed with you. That is too direct, too insulting, too vulgar. Any worthwhile woman would slap your face. One has to be a little more subtle with a woman. One has to be a little more indirect. And patience is needed. Poetry is needed. And even if you have the idea in your mind to go to bed, that will be a disturbance. That will create an unbridgeable gap. If the idea is not there, then you simply enjoy being with this woman. One day you will go to bed with her, but that will happen. The seagulls will descend on you. Let life happen. Don't try to force it. Through doing, only worthless things are achieved. Through non-doing, all that is beautiful, all that is sacred, all that is divine is yours. And this is the reason why I picked the book back up after a couple years and reread these words so I could share them with you and share a little bit of my experience with let go and letting go as a technique also in meditation. When I meditate, I just accept all my surroundings as I close my eyes. I like to play music when I meditate, but soon after you dive into meditation, the music in a sense kind of disappears. It's still existing around you, but it helps you to disappear. And you can only disappear if you're in a state of let go, in a state of total receptivity. And it's not hard to do at all. Being in a receptive mode is, it's actually easier than being assertive, because being assertive actually takes energy, and it's something that deletes the energy in your body. But being receptive, you actually gain and you gather energy together. And I talk about things like Zen and instant enlightenment. And instant enlightenment can happen to a person if they're in a total state of let go, a total receptivity and acceptance for their situation, acceptance of everything that they've been given and all their surroundings, and a great thankfulness that will come over you and help you to enter into a state of let go that you've never been able to do before. The first time that I was ever in a state of total let go was that time way back in 1998 when I was surfing off the coast of Santa Cruz, and I had a near-death experience, and it freed me from the fear of death, but it also freed me from wanting any future too. I just let go of wanting anything, any more waves, any more life, any more existence. I let go of the wanting and the desire of a future, and at the same time I let go of fear of the past, and I let that go too. So I was in a total state of let go, and I want to say that I was really relaxed for the first time in my life. I'd never been that relaxed. And I went into meditation, and that's when my life changed drastically, because what happened to me in that meditation session goes beyond belief and beyond explanation. But anyway, I wanted to share those words with you, and these things can happen to you when you stop trying to trick existence into giving you what you think you deserve, when all of a sudden all this time has been like seagulls flying over your head high up in the sky. But if you're holding like a cracker and you're trying to get the seagull to take the cracker out of your hand, you'll find out that it's a very hard thing to get to happen. I mean, it can happen, but the seagull has to trust you. But if you don't have a intent in your mind to hurt the seagull, then the seagulls will come down eventually and take it right from your hand. But if you have the intent, then apparently the seagulls can sense this, and they know you're trying to be tricky, and they won't come down and take the food from your hand. But I love feeding the seagulls. I've always loved feeding the seagulls, and I think that at one time when I was sitting on the coast of California, I watched different seagulls, and as I fed them, I watched to see who got the most food, and it wasn't always the biggest and the strongest. It wasn't always the fastest either. Sometimes it was positioning, sometimes it was just luck, but the seagulls were very receptive to me, and I was very open and giving at that time in my life. And since that time in my life, I've learned to be receptive and open, almost I'd say 95, maybe 96% of the time, to try and be in a receptive, open state of mind and state of being. There are times in life where you have to be assertive, that you have to. Put an effort out, and you use your mind. But that's a lot different from letting the mind use you all the time, where you're always in a constant thinking state instead of feeling state. Feelings go way deeper than thoughts do. But there's nothing wrong with thinking and being able to think and use those, use it as a utility when needed, to make your living, to make your life, to take care of your surroundings, like your house and your vehicles and everything that you own, to maintain these things very well. And also planning your future, and your retirement. You have to use your mind to do these things. But when it comes down to the essential, to obtaining the gifts that existence wants to share with you, if you're in a receptive mode, then and open, then existence actually showers on you. I mean, I've been many times in my life where I was at work or something, and I didn't know the answer to a certain situation or what the best path to take would take. So I just opened myself up to existence, and existence has a voice, and existence will guide you. I've spent complete days working, at my job, and doing very technical things, but I was open to existence and listening to what existence was trying to tell me, and existence will give you the guidance you need to guide you through whatever situation that you're finding. And you can find yourself in hairy instances, like, just for instance, like I've heard and I've been told, I don't know for, personal fact that this is true, but when I was studying Aikido, we were taught that the samurai swordsmen of the days, ancient days of Japan, where samurais had to make a living fighting with their swords. If you ever came up against a superior samurai who's famous for many kills, and you barely know how to use a sword, then if you listen to your existence, if you listen to your heart, existence can help guide you to actually maybe fight and conquer in that situation. But the voice of existence is actually faster than the voice of thought. So in other words, you can say that your consciousness is actually faster than thought. And it's kind of hard to explain or help you to realize what I'm trying to say. It's something that you have to experience for yourself. But if you can learn the trick of going into meditation and being receptive, then you can also learn the trick of being receptive and open, and just have a space created during your day, while you're working or whatever you're doing, to experience no thought, and let existence thought actually come in and take over and guide you in your ways. But it is a receptivity, a total let go in your being, that'll gain you or get you to that point in your life. And usually it has to start with meditation, because that's the easiest. Because when you meditate, you're in a posture, sometimes in a dark room or something, and just being open and receptive and in a state of total let go. So it starts there, but it spans out into your life, and it can span through every aspect of your life. And then, like I said, you can still use the mind when you need to. Our minds are beautiful things, but they shouldn't be the master. Consciousness should be the master. Feelings should be the master. Let feelings guide your way. And then when you need to think, use your mind at that point. I also want to say that, when we're in prayer, we're being receptive in a certain way too. We are opening ourselves up to existence. You can call it God, you can call it existence, you can call it whatever you want, but you're opening yourself up. But the problem is that the focus is outward and not inward. And God is like the seagulls that are dancing above your head. They're just waiting for you to be receptive and in a state of let go. So it is instead of your focus being outward and there being an object that you're focusing your energy towards, your focus is inward. It's a subjective energy. It's an inward emotion, and all receptivity, it is a feminine energy, you could say, being receptive, but don't be afraid of it, because it's already part of you anyway. I want to say thank you for joining me. I'm glad we got to discuss these things about being open and in a state of let go. Like I said, it definitely changed my life when I learned the art of doing just that. So once again, I say thank you for joining me and spending the time to listen to my words. Like I said, I know that one day, if you can be in a total let go, in a very receptive mode, especially starting with meditation, that your life will change, and existence's gifts will continually shower on you for the rest of your life when you learn this art of let go, this indulgence into what God is and what God has to share with you. Anyway, my name is Douglas Grummins. I have about, I want to say, 40-something videos on YouTube, all going over different aspects of spirituality and religion and life, and how to face life's problems and difficult situations that come. I try to give you guidance in every form that I can think of when the thought comes to me. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. My name is Douglas Grummins. Take care of yourselves. Bye.